Hello and welcome Capricorn to your messages. Keep in mind these are collective and general, so receive what aligns, release what doesn't. Never give your power away to a reading or an outcome. Remember, your conscious creator. You shift and change your timeline with your free will choice. So let's get into it, Capricorn, okay? Starting out Seven of Pentacles, you're looking at what you have created. You know, whether this is your career, whether this is items in your home, you're looking at the value in your life. You're looking at the time and energy that you put into things, and are you reaping the rewards that you desired, right? Are there certain pivots or shifts or changes or things that you could make? Because you're taking stock of things and you're looking at what you want to make, you know, what you're wanting to do for change, or there's a sense of like, for some of you, it's like a difference that you want to make in the world, but it's also, there's something different. There's change that you desire here. Like, obviously you want the 10 of Pentacles, not the 7. So you're looking at, how can I grow my Pentacles faster? Or what changes could I make that would be beneficial for me to create what I desire, right? So that's kind of what you're looking at here with the 7 of Pentacles. And it looks like it grows to the 9 of Pentacles. But the 9 of Pentacles is also giving back to yourself. You know, you're tending your garden. You know, some of you might be gardening right now, and you're looking at if you have different challenges, you're looking at solutions or how to, you know, improve your flowers, or, you know, the way things are growing, different things you can change in the environment. That's possible here. But this could also be with this 9 of Pentacles, is you nurturing yourself, you giving back to yourself a little bit, you being really appreciative of what you've created all by yourself, right? The 9 of Pentacles says you're self-sufficient, that you are, you know, definitely strong in who you are and your ability to create your reality and your ability to generate coin. You know, that's something else that's coming through here. Some of you, it might have been you were looking at what you were creating and deciding, you know, there's something new that you want to do that's more aligned with who you are. You know, this is that kind of pre-Empress energy. But what's wild about this card is, you see there's her, you know, her garden, and she's tending to her grapes, and there's a fence here. And then in the distance, there's a house. So there's a sense that you need a break from your house or from your home, or some sort of vacation, or to get out in the garden and spend time just kind of doing what you love to do. Whether that's yard work, whether that's gardening, whether that's spending time out in nature, that's something that's important for you, to tend to your garden, for you to be selfish, okay? For you to take the best care of yourself at this time, pamper yourself, right? We do have the 5 of Cups energy, so you're kind of disappointed with what you have been experiencing, okay? But if you look behind here, like there's the 2 of Cups, right? You realize there's definitely something better, more aligned for you. And that's kind of what's coming through here with the Hierophant energy. So there could be changes to the structure of your career, of your job, of certain commitments, you know, that you're not happy with. But the other message with the Hierophant energy is there's something that's aligning for your highest and greatest good. So whatever is gone or whatever is releasing, let it go. Okay, take off that cloak. You know, it looks like there's this person's grieving, right? And I'm hearing like, take off that cloak of grief and frustration, release what has, you know, what is gone, and adapt, because it feels like there's a beautiful change that is coming in here. Many of you also, you're healing from some sort of grief. And if you're doing so, like being out in nature, doing what you love, you know, maybe crafting or doing things with your hands, is going to be really helpful and beneficial for you here. You might have also a masculine energy that's codependent on you, and the more that you focus on yourself, they kind of are grieving, or they're kind of having to deal with their own emotions, and that's okay. They need to be able to do that, right? You're not responsible for somebody else's happiness. So with that 5 of Cups, there could be some changes that you want to make that are beneficial for you, but someone who is codependent on you, you know, is going to be unhappy about. But this is all by design, okay? And this is what is healthy for you here. So there's a few different messages, but some of you, it's like the experience, you know, you weren't happy with what you were experiencing. So you know that there needed to be some sort of change, right? And you also know that you needed to put yourself as the lead, right? You need to put yourself first here with the 9 of Pentacles, and be really proud of what you have created. And really trust and honor and listen to your higher self with that Hierophant energy. You know, some of you might be religious, or whoever you connect to, spirit, you know, the universe, whatever it may be for you, a higher power. It feels like that's something that's important to you. You might also be receiving some sort of guidance from someone who you feel like is a spiritual teacher or leader. That is very beneficial for you in your experience. So it feels like it's a bit up and down, but it's not so much because of you or your experience. It feels like others kind of adapting to the changes around you at this time, right? But you're almost being pushed outside of your comfort zone because you're not satisfied with how things are going. And so you are kind of creating that change. And again, it is by design, right? And if you are doing some grieving or you are frustrated or moving through some things, take time to honor those emotions and, and really take the best care of yourself here too, especially with that Nine of Pentacles. That's about treating yourself, okay? So that's what we have for like the general message that came in pretty quick. Now, love and relationships, I heard get ready, Capricorn. Get ready. So we start with the Chariot. So you've decided to move beyond the past. That might be that Five of Cups energy of you just kind of releasing like an old timeline and some of the emotional debris that was still there. Letting it go, ready to move forward. And here you do with the Chariot energy. The Chariot's about that forward momentum and the sunshine. You're gaining this clarity and you're kind of letting happiness lead you. It's leading you out of a space of, it feels like a space of being responsible for what's not yours. You're not meant to be responsible for, right? So it does feel like you're being led by your happiness, by clarity, by truth, and by alignment with the star energy, because that's about your wish fulfillment and the Nine of Cups, like your wish fulfillment. It's time for you to be selfish. It's time for you to put yourself first. It's really not selfish, but there's a reason that word is coming forward, because some of you might have a very negative, connection with that word. But it is important for you to be selfish, for you to choose what is best for you to lead your life in a way that brings you happiness and joy and alignment. And that's what's shining through here. And it does feel like you're choosing yourself. Now, some of you, if you like recently detached from someone, it's like you're enjoying your freedom. You're quite happy. You like your space. You like your time. You like your energy, and you trust that what you want to manifest in will at the right time. Some of you are going to start to see some instant manifestation happening where, you are thinking about qualities in a partner and that person shows up, or you're starting to see that. And I think it creates this momentum and joy for you. And I feel like you're paving the way to align with your person, right? Because you've cleared out what kind of doesn't serve you or the past energies that you were holding on to. But yeah, there's definitely this sense of letting joy and happiness be your guide forward, okay, out of the past and into the present. And then, it's like you're taking the reins and now you are deciding, okay, this is the direction that I'm moving in. This feels good. This feels aligned. This feels best for me. I feel called to this. Use your discernment always, right? But it's like there was heavy kind of responsibility that was on you in kind of the beginning of the spread. And I don't feel like it was just yours. I feel like you were taking on other responsibilities or other energies. And again, there could be shifts and changes at work. But geez, I mean, your love life here could even just be you falling in love with life again, your life again, and creating a life that you love to live, led by joy and happiness, right? For some of you, if you don't know what it is that brings the joy and happiness to you, or that alignment, you're wanting to explore it. There's also really peaceful times like in the evening where you're just kind of living a life that feels relaxed, and there's even I'm seeing like an evening routine that's really helpful for you with that star energy. So everybody's receiving a message of change, okay? Even you too, Capricorn. But yes, wish fulfillment is coming in here. And it's interesting, it feels like with the sun and the star, like you're shining brightly. You're shining brightly in the light, you're shining brightly in the dark. And you're going to be attracting in more of what you desire, so get ready. Okay, Capricorn? Now, when it gets to family dynamics, we have the Six of Pentacles, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. So you're very generous. You like to give, you like to nurture. You could be a mother, but you don't have to be. You could be a business owner, you could be a teacher. You like to give, okay? That brings you a lot of happiness, right? But I think you've gotten to the point where maybe you've been over-giving, because we have the Ten of Swords and we have the Devil energy. Capricorn is the Devil energy here, right? But maybe you're realizing the place you were giving from was a place of scarcity, lack, fear, or fear of abandonment or something like that it was coming from with the Nine of Wands, some sort of wound. Okay? So you could be you were maybe over-giving to family, over-giving to people that, ultimately it's like you feel wounded by, you feel kind of betrayed by. So you're sitting back and you're like, wait a second. You know, is Capricorn about to enter into their villain era? Because that's kind of what it feels like here. With the Nine of Wands, the Devil, and the Ten of Swords, you're like, well, no, I didn't sign up for this. So you could be feeling somewhat betrayed or hurt by the actions of others, right? You could feel like, you know, the energy that you're putting in is not reciprocated. You're feeling if things are out of balance for sure here, Capricorn. Okay, so everything is kind of leading you to make these changes and to put yourself first, you know, in your family dynamic as well. It's like when things are, you know, there's appreciation and, you know, there's equal exchange of like responsibilities and giving and receiving, you know, that's when you're like happiest. But it feels like you could be around a lot of people that are not as appreciative, right? And this almost to me speaks about, for some of you Capricorns, if like, it feels like you finding your soul tribe, you know, ultimately it's like you feel like you've been used quite a bit. That's what's coming through here. And you're frustrated, and you have every right to be frustrated. And you're defensive with a Nine of Wands, right? But you're also very loyal. And so you have this kind of conflict within yourself about this. The Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior, but it's also like not giving up. But sometimes we do need to release things that continuously wound us, and trust that that space that's created, there will be someone who aligns as long as we shift our frequency with it, right? And have our strong boundaries and don't accept less than we deserve. Then another energy will fill that space, right? Be aware of also any sort of toxic patterns or behaviors or addictions when you're stressed or when you're feeling hurt, right? Choose coping mechanisms that are healthy. Choose to receive love and support, you know, from a therapist or from someone that can hold space for you, okay? Because there's quite a bit of wounding within like the family dynamics. And for some of you that, you know, this isn't you, this is someone close to you, right? This could be your mother. You know, if you live with your mother with the Queen of Pentacles energy, you know, there could be some challenging dynamics with your mother at this time, right? Someone could create the wounding and then play the victim. There could be that sort of energy coming through here too. So balance is important, okay? Nurturing and taking the best care of yourself. And a lot of things here are moving you forward, Capricorn. That's what's standing out to me. So when we get to the overall theme, we have the breakthrough. I definitely feel like there are breakthroughs happening in your career, in love and relationships, and within your family dynamics. And all of it has to do with what you will accept versus what you won't. It has to do with your boundaries, and it has to do with you being respected and appreciated here, right? And you know, living your life realizing that, you know, it's like you're waking up to realize, wait a second, this is my life. I don't have to be serving other people all the time. I don't have to be taking on all these extra responsibilities. I can spread my wings and I can live the life that I want to live. And so that's what you're doing here with this breakthrough energy. So let's go ahead and read this card for you, Capricorn. Number 9. We have, you're at a precipice of a huge positive breakthrough. Everything that you've been doing for the past few years has been preparing you for this time. An immense self-realization is on its way. Something for which you've waited a long time is about to come to fruition. Your soul wants you to know fruit drops from the tree when it's ripe, flowers open to the day when the sun rises, and a bird's egg cracks open when it's time. Everything that you've been doing has prepared you for the coming breakthrough. Quit standing on the cliff and wondering what you should do. Spread your arms. You shall fly. It's not life as usual anymore. Your patience is going to pay off. Old limitations and inner blockages are dropping away. Usually, the thing that keeps you from moving forward is fear. This is truly the time to feel the fear and do it anyway. And the affirmation is, I soar into limitless love, light, and joy. Limitless love, light, and joy. And I feel like that's what you want to experience here, Capricorn. And there have been a lot of energies kind of holding you back, but also the past and also you not stepping into your own personal power. And now it's time to step into your own personal power. And that message about like the cliff energy, you see spreading your wings, reminds me of the Fool energy. Just before there's going to be a new beginning, there's going to be a reset, there's going to be new energy, a new adventure, momentum, okay, in your experience. So that is what I have for you, Capricorn. Receive what aligns, release what doesn't. Thank you so much for joining me. Take the best care of yourself, and I will see you soon.